so much for coming tonight, for coming out supporting the network, DFW chapter, the great, brilliant students who are here tonight that are going to get scholarships. Let's give them a hand. To speak tonight was clear. Because me being here tonight was part of me stepping into my purpose. And I hope that what I share with you tonight, you will take that as you look to step into your purpose. Once upon a time, there was a young lady from the south side of Chicago who had been dealt some tough hands. She was an unemployed college dropout who was on the brink of homelessness. She was smart and driven, but faced challenges at every turn. And while she wasn't sure how to dig her way out of the situation, she knew if she was given the right opportunity, she could be successful. That young lady was me at the age of 19. Now, my 19-year-old self was not even thinking about stepping into my purpose. I don't even know that I knew what that meant at that time. I was really just trying to survive. But you've heard Victor talk about some of the things I've been able to accomplish, and so I'm standing here as an example that no matter what you're going through, whatever challenges you were dealt, you can be successful. What I want to share with you is the method that I use in order to help fulfill my purpose and identify my passion, and I call it the FACE method. Foundation, assessment, CARS leadership, and execute with excellence. First and foremost, you have to have a strong foundation. And for me, my foundation you may not know, or where you may be the only one. That's okay. Don't feel like you have to change yourself in order to fit in, because the fact that you're different gives you a unique perspective that people need to hear and that needs to be shared. Amen. So, except for Victor. What I will say though, and you heard Victor mention that there's Shawana and there's Shay, and for those who know me for a really long time, they've probably experienced both. It is really important to understand what parts of you allow people to see based on the environment that you're in, and develop. The next thing is integrity. As you go through life, your integrity will constantly be challenged. You will constantly find yourself in situations where you could make a wrong decision. And so having a strong core value is really, really important, and it is at the center of everything I do. It not only drives what you do, but how you do it and how you treat people. And at the end of the day, what I've learned in leadership, with leading teams, with working with people like Victor and other people in this room, is it doesn't always matter what I did, but it always mattered how people felt and how I made them feel when they worked with me and when they interacted with me. So having integrity is really important. And then the last part of foundation is around humility. And in the words of Kendrick Lamar, be humble. Accept praise and criticism with grace. Seek to understand other people's perspectives. At the end of the day, no one wants to deal with a difficult person. Now that you have your foundation and you're going out into the world, now you have to go through a lot of self-assessment so you can find your passion. What is that thing that makes you really excited and that you love to do? TDJ says, if you can't figure out your purpose, figure out your passion. For your passion will lead you right into purpose. Passions aren't the things you just like to do, they're the things you love to do. All right, some of y'all got some work to do. This is why we're here. Okay. So the next thing is, how are you going to show up every day? As you're out in the world, if you're at school, if you're at work, if you're in the community, how are you showing up every day? And I love a good acronym, so I call this the CARS Leadership Framework. Confidence, ask, raise, and storytelling. And I'll tell you what each one means. This is something that I personally use for people who've been a part of my mentoring circles. It's something I talk about on a regular basis. If you go and read the article about negative self-talk to the curb. But remember, there is a thin line between confidence and arrogance, and that's why it's important that within your foundation you have humility. Secondly, ask for what you want and ask for help. Don't assume that the people around you know what you want or what you need or how to help you. It is okay to do that. Share your goals. There's a saying, an old school saying for those that are my age, that closed mouths don't get fed, and no true words have ever been said. So you gotta speak up.
Yeah.
And then I'll go into raise. Raise your head, raise your hand, and raise your voice. Raise your head is about being aware of your surroundings and acting accordingly. This has helped me so much in my career. One of the things that was really important to me was keeping up with what was going on in the industry, in the community, in politics. Having that general awareness really helped me make really good strategic decisions that helped me get to where I am today. So if someone tells you to just keep your head down and do your work, no, that does not work. It don't work for us. It might work for other people, but it does not work for us. So what I want to encourage you to do is raise your head and pay attention and act accordingly. Secondly, raise your hand. Take risks. Volunteer to take on new challenges. Instead of focusing on the worst thing that can happen, consider the best thing that can happen. Remember, you don't want to have fear of failure, but you want to have this fear of missing out. So when that opportunity comes up, think about it and say yes more than you say no. Lastly, raise your voice. Speak up for what you believe in. Advocate for yourself and for others who may not be able to advocate for themselves. Earlier, we talked about the idea of sometimes you may be the only person in the room. If you're the only person in the room and there's an opportunity to advocate for someone who's not there, do that. It's so important when you're the only one there to be able to show up, not just for yourself, but for others who may not be able to show up for themselves. Also, if you have a unique perspective, share it. And then the last part of CARS is around storytelling, and this is really about communication. And I can't tell you how important the ability to communicate is to your success. It is one of the most critical skills that if you think about leaders, like political leaders, leaders at your school, leaders at your company, I guarantee you every one of them is a great communicator. Let's think about this for a second. Early in my career, I was given the opportunity to present at a meeting with a lot of executives, and I was really early in my career. I was very green. And afterwards, my manager said to me, "You should always sound confident when you speak. Even if you don't know what you're talking about, people will believe and follow you." Now, that's great advice, except this is why it's important to have integrity as part of your foundation, because there are some people out there who speak prolifically, but they don't have integrity. But the ability to lead people is your ability to tell stories, your ability to tell your story, because again, no one's going to tell your story better than you. Your ability to communicate a vision, ability to communicate whatever's going on. So I can't tell you how important it is that you be a great communicator, and more importantly, that you control the narrative about you, because again, you want to be your own greatest advocate. And the last step in FACE, the FACE method, is to execute with excellence. You need to set bold goals, take smart risks, and of course, measure your success. You should ask yourself, what does success look like? What does it look like a year from now, 3 years from now, after high school, after college, after retirement? And then make sure you're stopping to celebrate those milestones along the way. Sometimes when you set bold goals, they feel unattainable and out of reach. And so you have to take the time to say, break it down into little pieces and be able to celebrate each one of those steps, because that is what will encourage you to keep going. It's interesting, I found a quote from Martin Luther King that really spoke to me, and it said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." So in the world of taking smart risks, you also have to get really comfortable with being uncomfortable. Now, that's the FACE method. That's what I use. Hopefully you heard something there that can help you. But here's what I want to leave you with. As you think about the dent that you want to make on this world, I encourage you to face those challenges in life so that you can find your passion and step into your purpose. For your purpose isn't a destination, it is about the journey. It's not a straight line or even a ladder, but it's a lattice. And when fear and uncertainty try to set in, because it will, the little negative naysayers, just say to yourself, instead of having fear of failure, I'd much rather have fear of missing out. Thank you, everybody.